about 19% African American students, small percentage of Hispanic students, so Asian, and those who identify themselves as the mixed race. And we've prided ourselves on, kind of working together, whether it's the Wheatley Heights community, the Dix Hills community, parts of Deer Park. We're neighbors here at Deer Park High School and student. But I think some of the things that we've been hearing about all morning, and maybe from some of the folks who've been talking about this maybe longer, is, we heard a few people say today, you can say affordable housing. You don't have to try to say something different. Affordable housing may mean something different. Maybe, my parents might have thought affordable housing meant something, and now affordable housing might have meant that my sister didn't have to move to North Carolina away from my father. So I think it's the same things that we've been talking about, is communities being open to evolving, moving away from the goal of Long Island to have the largest, greenest lawn, to having a place where we can all live together. I think the diversity piece is coming whether folks want it or not, because the demographic is changing.
I think that we need young people like you to speak out more, to come to town board meetings more, to come to school district meetings more, and to mobilize, and to say, hey, these are some of the changes that we need to make. And this is what we want to see. And this is what we need so we can stay on Long Island. Because until that really happens, we still have that, that different attitude that, we don't want rental housing here. Rental housing is not going to be good for us in our neighborhood, and that's a problem.
I agree with Steve. I think that we need more young people getting involved and speaking up and speaking out. I just wanted to share with you. We have to break down these barriers and mindsets regarding segregation and racism and issues related to that. I just wanted to share very quickly an experience that we had in the Amityville School District. Our high school is engaged in an exchange program where our kids, who are predominantly minority kids, go to visit and spend a whole day in school districts that do not have that same level of diversity. And so we recently hosted another school district that is not very diverse at all, and they came and spent a day in our high school, a substantial number of kids and their teachers. And at the end of the day, the visiting kids, they had nothing but praise for the Amityville district and the high school and the kids. They said, this is such an open place. The kids here are very accepting. We want our high school to be more like this school. And even the teachers said that. And of course, our kids are going to go visit them at their school. But it's those interactions and us continuing to push the notion that we have to break down these barriers and be more open-minded and more accepting, and it's one person at a time making those differences.
Just one more thing. I think we would all agree on this. It's about education and also opportunity. So 2 weeks ago, we held a summit for Latino students and their families. And my message to them was, we can't make it without you. You are our future. As a society, and you heard data here suggesting minority-majority flips, we were trying to be a solution for them. We were encouraging them to come to college. We will give them opportunities. So we're welcoming that diversity. And if you come to the Dowling campus, it's in front of you. So we value it and support them economically, and we also, if we have to, we can support them educationally. So the message from the higher ed side is, we can't afford to miss another generation. We can't afford it. We have a president's-superintendent's partnership on Long Island. And when I was a superintendent, I co-chaired a committee with the then Dowling president, which was a long time ago. And I went to my first meeting as president this time. And on the board, in a PowerPoint, were the goals of that committee. They were the same goals that I was involved in 15 years ago, because we haven't made any progress on it. And those goals were about keeping young people here, giving them opportunities here, encouraging them to come to college here. And then when they graduate, to stay here and thrive here and live here and be economically independent. So we've got a ways to go yet. But personally, we can't afford to not get this right. We have to get this issue of minority, majority, white, black, Latino, whatever it happens to be. We need to be an integrated society, and it's very complicated, but we're trying to do our part. Thank you.
We have time for one more quick question. Is there anyone who would like to pose a question?
I live in centralized. We have the opposite situation going on right now. We are currently 300 students above the projected maximum for this school year. We also have probably one of the highest amount of rentals in all of New York State according to the New York State Census. We also have a lot of apartments. I know you guys built in centralized. I said, wait a minute, it's not Courthouse Commons. I'm sold it, but you were in centralized development. But what centralized community is facing now is we're facing how are we going to afford to educate the increased number of students that we currently have with our tax cap. What is your solution for that?
You may have answered the question why school districts pause when asked the question about any sort of new housing. Education systems, we need to shift also. We need to look at costs, just as Tucker and Sarah said earlier. We need to look at salaries. We need to look at how are we most efficient. Every school district has a different set of challenges, and some of the challenges we heard of with that would lead to potential employment. Bilingual teachers. New regulations coming down from the state education department that make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that if my son only speaks Spanish, that someone can teach him math in Spanish. Please teach him English too, but while he's learning English, teach him math. I mean, the regulations come from the right place, but they are very expensive. So, how do districts survive that? It can't just be a local problem. Long Island, many folks, and it's a conversation for a different day, but Long Island getting its fair share of state aid for what is paid in personal income tax from folks who live on Long Island and what comes back. Those percentages don't match. That's just one small hope, and a lot of creative, good, hardworking people. Your superintendent is another Dowling graduate, Dr. Carr. The new high school principal is a dynamic educator. A lot of it is going to be not about money, but about individuals working hard and doing the best they can. But that one piece of looking at a larger solution is Long Island getting its fair share of state aid.
I'll say real quickly, that's a perfect example of why we need more development, because development results in additional real estate taxes and additional school taxes to pay for the kids' educations. At the same time, I assume that the state aid available, the state aid right now, thank God we have a Republican Senate that was elected, because they do bring a lot of money back to Long Island for education, okay? And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter to me. What really matters is what are those politicians doing for us on Long Island? And those nine Democrats, where Senator Skelos is the majority leader right now, they're going to they know that we need. I'm sure they know they need money, additional education money for Central Islip, and I guarantee those guys are going to step to the plate and get you some money. But the fact of the matter is, new development results in new real estate taxes.
I would just like to add that the way education is funded in the state is very complicated. As taxpayers, we are seeking relief from growing costs that continue to occur as a result of more demands that are being placed on districts through unfunded mandates. But we really have to examine, and this is really a systemic issue, with this 1% tax, or with the 2% tax cap, which now is really going to be a 1% cap because CPI right now is roughly at about 1%. We really have to work with our legislators and our state officials to really look at the equation for how education is funded. And that's a much more complex issue, but we're facing the same exact thing. We're at, in some of our buildings, we're at capacity. We're headed towards being over capacity.
Thank you, our panelists are available for the intelligence program. I want to give you an idea. Not that that's going to necessarily translate to just the business program in Wisconsin high school. It's going to be college presidents this way. PCW post. They're not all going to transfer if you go into a top school. But, you know, for any kid that is taking a major in business, that's so really good. It's a great course offering. You know, that's everybody knows, you know, the same things. Their business course offering. Okay. Right.